Hello, my name is Maria Popovich and I will be talking about unpacking a standard. The standard that I have chosen is one of the Common Core standards for ELA for grades 9 and 10 that I have found on the Michigan Department of Education website because my school in Shanghai collaborates with another high school in Michigan. So the standard is cites drawn and thorough textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly as well as inferences drawn from the text. This standard is very similar to another one, which is draw evidence from literary or informational texts to support analysis, reflection, and research. There are two reasons for me choosing the first standard. One of which is that the first standard is more specific and it also was listed on the section for narrative texts. Next semester, I will be teaching literature as a separate subject, so I would need to be focusing on fictional texts. And the second reason is that this specific standard can be easily applied to another topic that we need to cover next semester, which is character analysis. I also would like to mention a standard chosen by one of my peers, Joe Mary, which is also an English language arts standard that is demonstrate understanding of figurative language, word relationships, and nuances in word meanings. Both of them focus on working with fictional texts, but they are quite different because the standard that I have chosen focuses on the meaning of the text and ideas behind it, while the standard that Joe Marie has chosen focuses on the language itself and the language used by the author. Talking about big ideas, some of the nouns in my standard are evidence, textual evidence specifically, analysis, text, and inferences. And the verbs are to cite and to support. By looking at the nouns and verbs, we can come up with a list of skills that the students would need in order to reach mastery level. First of all, they would need citation skills, so quoting the text and also citing text using MLA or APA standards. They would also need to make claims and build arguments, so later they can use textual evidence, they can look for textual evidence to support their claims. They also would need to know how to choose relevant evidence to support the claim, the strongest, the most relevant evidence from the available ones. Because all of my students are English language learners, they also would need a skill of reading comprehension because I need to make sure they understand the text before analyzing it. Also, they would need to draw inferences from the text, which requires the skill of critical thinking. In general, when we analyze the text, the fictional or non-fictional text, we require critical thinking for analysis. There are 3 activities that I came up with to practice skills needed to reach mastery level based on this standard. The first activity is characterization. Students would need to read short passages and underline words or phrases that they can use as evidence to prove that the character has a specific personality trait. For example, they would need to read a sentence or a passage in order to prove that the character has nice personality or is obsequious or is ungrateful. And later this activity can be extended to writing a paragraph about the character. The second activity is more creative, which is making claims and citing evidence with paintings. So the students would need to study the painting and answer questions about inferred meanings, emotions, context of the painting by providing evidence. And the third activity could be also used as a cheat sheet for the final assessment, which is providing evidence for analysis. So they would need to answer some questions about the short story that they have read and know very well and make certain claims. and then they would need to support their claims with textual evidence. For example, they will be asked what is the theme in the text. They would need to answer that question and provide textual evidence to support their answer. Also, this activity can be used as extra support, as I said before, as cheat sheet for their writing activity, for writing an analytical essay about a text. So there are three types of assessment that I would like to use for this unit. The first one is pre-assessment, where I would like to identify what students already know about the topic. Do they know how to cite? Do they know how to quote? Do they know what a claim is and how to make it and how to analyze the text, and later how to find the best textual evidence. Some ideas are KWL chart that can be done at the beginning and at the end of the unit or specific lessons, and error correction activity when students are given an essay or examples of textual evidence and they would need to identify whether this evidence is thorough enough for the claim provided. Second type of assessment is formative assessment that would promote learning and assess students' progress throughout the unit. So some ideas are entry and exit tickets, peer feedback, and also text analysis, essay, or a paragraph. For summative assessment, to assess students' knowledge at the end of the unit, I would use a unit test with open-ended questions and also text analysis, essay, and paragraph. So I would like to include it in the formative assessment to give them room for practice, and in the summative assessment because I believe that this is one of the best ways to assess their knowledge on the topic. Thank you so much.